Floridae, Floridae, what such a lovely word is Floridae. Hello, this is Lavender Rose on the midnight hour, and I shall be talking about something which I imagine a lot of you do not know. At least I cannot say I knew before I read it. That Florida at one time, way back when, was for 3 months its own republic. I'm not talking about all of Florida, I'm talking about West Florida. Now, the part I'm in right now probably was not quite included in it, because back in those days, Florida extended into Alabama, Louisiana, and Mississippi, and for those who did not know, before they were made into their own territories and states. Okay, well, let's start first at the Revolution time. There was in East Florida, which is from the other side of Panama City on down to the Central South and all those parts. And then there was West Florida, which this area is, of course, a part of, and extended all the way over to Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, ... right? Back in the time of the Revolutionary War, when all of those places were deciding if they want to be a loyalist or they wanted to fight for their freedom, Florida was full of loyalists. It belonged to, for a long time, Spain, but at that time, I think, if I'm not mistaken, England had owned them, claimed them. And a little bit before, I think, the Revolutionary War began. They wanted those ports. They had all the way up from Canada, all the way down through the colonies, to Florida, and to some of the Caribbean. And so, the reason they, of course, really wanted Florida, and the reason that the colonists also wanted Florida, obviously, was because of the ocean and coming in with their goods and all such things. Well, at the time of the Revolutionary War, there was Florida, as I said, belonged to England. So if you wanted independence and you lived in Florida, you couldn't talk about it unless you probably wanted to be put in prison or killed. And the same with the loyalists who lived up there, who were far and few in between. They actually, a lot of them came to Florida to live. But we're not really going to get into the Revolutionary time. That's a story for another time. This happened around, well, it first started in 1804, when Spain again had taken control of West Florida. Well, there were it was a hodgepodge of people around here. Obviously natives, the Africans, the slaves that were, and the Spanish, the French, the English, well, I guess you can put all those, some in those, lump them in with the whites, right? They were a hodgepodge, and for the most part, they got along. But the Spanish weren't, well, they were not the best rulers. They were very sly, and they wanted to raise taxes on here or there. It wasn't very good for the farmers or the people who wanted to be in business and sell their lands. So there was, wanted to get together for a revolt. Didn't end up very well in 1804. But in 1810, they did get together, and they went into this fort area, and there was a few shots from the Spaniards, and there, of course, they had a canyon, and they blew it in there, and then the Spanish just gave up. And for a small time, now this is just the areas that were part of where New Orleans is, like Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. They didn't take all of West Florida, obviously. So they took a few parts, and I just thought it was interesting because, first of all, you never really think of there being an East Florida and a West Florida, but you never think of them being a independent West Florida. It only lasted for about 3 months. And of course, the president over there thought, you know what? I think it was Thomas Jefferson or someone at the time. I'm just going to let it happen because it'll be easy to get it if the, colonist type peoples own it. And they did. They wanted the protection, everything, and they finally just gave it over to 3 months later. I think it was in September they took it, and by December it was given right back to the United States. But this part of Florida where I'm at right now, that was just that area. This part, I think, was a little bit later by the time that they took it back. I'm not really sure. But anyway, I thought that was interesting. And they made this is just a little bit of lyrics from the 6th verse of the marching song of West Florida. Yes, they even took time to make a song. But anyway, West Florida, that lovely nation, free from king and tyranny, through the world shall be respected for her true love of liberty. Love it. Anyway, and this was the flag. Yes, they had even a flag. Anyway, just wanted to say those few things and wish everyone a wonderful Thursday. And over and out.